One winter's morning in 1855, the townspeople of Devon, England awoke to find their entire town buried in snow. The previous night a blizzard had rolled in, dumping several inches of snow and making it impossible for anyone to go outside without snowshoes. That is, of course, unless you were a giant kangaroo, because that's what the townspeople found when they looked out their doors that morning. Stretching over 100 miles across the entire county were a single line of large hoof-like prints that seemed to have been made by some kind of enormous animal. As the snow continued to fall, more and more footprints appeared. They were huge, about the size of a man's hand, and they were all identical, perfectly preserved in the fresh snow. Over the course of the day, they would come to cover 450 miles. The tracks were everywhere, crossing rivers, climbing up rooftops, even leaping over snowdrifts as high as 6 feet. Some tracks even seemed to vanish into thin air. There were no signs of where the creature had come from or where it had gone. It was as if it had simply sprung into existence in the middle of the night and then disappeared again. Naturally, the local townspeople were terrified. What kind of monster was this? Was it a wild animal, a demon, or perhaps a lost member of the circus? People began to travel from neighboring counties just to see the footprints for themselves, which attracted the attention of scientists who came to collect samples. They examined the tracks and concluded that they were indeed far too big to have been made by any known species of animal. And so the mystery only deepened. Now, the first thing you might be thinking is that maybe these tracks were unmade by a giant kangaroo after all. Maybe they were made by a human, someone who wanted to play a prank on the town. But there are two major problems with that theory. First, these footprints were nearly identical, perfectly preserved in the snow. If they were made by a person, how could they have done it without any footprints of their own? Second, these footprints didn't just cover a few miles, or even 100 miles. They covered 450 miles. It would have taken weeks to make such a long trail. Weeks spent carefully stamping down each footprint to make it look exactly like the others. And not only that, but whoever made the tracks would have had to keep doing it every time it snowed, even after the scientists came. So if it wasn't made by a person, then what was it made by? Well, that's the truly terrifying part. To this day, no one knows. Some believe that it may have actually been a giant kangaroo, a massive marsupial lion that somehow got loose from a traveling circus, although that's just a theory. Others say that it was the work of a madman, a serial killer named John Bishop, who in 1839 was declared insane after killing 6 people and then burying their bodies in a pit. Some say that he then made the footprints in the snow to mock the police, and that when they searched for his body, they accidentally uncovered the bodies of his victims instead. But again, that's just a theory because ultimately no one knows what the footprints were or what caused them. The most popular explanation to this day is that it was a hoax, that someone somehow managed to forge 450 miles of perfect footprints in a single night, but even that doesn't explain how. What we do know is that the devil's footprints became an instant sensation. Newspapers across the country reported on the strange phenomenon, and people traveled from all around just to catch a glimpse of the mysterious tracks. But as quickly as they appeared, they vanished. After a few days, the snow that had preserved them so perfectly melted away, leaving behind nothing but soggy footprints and a whole lot of questions. To this day, the people who live there still call them the Devil's footprints and wonder what monster lurks in the shadows, waiting for another snowstorm to come and cover the ground once more. Now, if you want to hear another scary story, just click here or click here to watch one of our other videos.